Tonight at midnight, South Africa goes into what's called lockdown. Many of us are still unsure of exactly what this means and what the restrictions are. Now, to get more clarity on the matter, we're joined on the line now by journalist Adam Welz. Hi, Adam. Hello, Adam. Are you there? Adam, you know Adam does this to me. I thought we had a good relationship after last week. Adam, don't run away. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks.
Thank you so much for spending time with us today and clarifying and debunking some of the things that are going on in our country. Now, on Tuesday, the president declared a national shutdown in the wake of the current state of emergency that our country finds itself in. There is much speculation on what lockdown exactly and actually is. So what does it actually mean for citizens?
Well, the short version is unless you are somebody who is involved in providing vital services, you have to stay home as much as possible. And vital services are people who are in food production, food provision, and medicine and healthcare, essentially. So you can only leave your house to go shopping for essentials, to go and see a doctor, get medical attention, maybe at a hospital. You can visit an ATM or a bank if you absolutely need cash. You can go and collect social grants. You can fill up with petrol. If somebody dies, you can go to a funeral, but no more than 50 people, that's 50, are allowed at the funeral. Then whenever you're outside, which should be as little as possible, you should follow physical distancing rules. You should stay 2 meters away from everybody else. And you should be careful to sanitize things like, ATM buttons and credit card machines, door handles and things that a lot of other people have touched because the virus can live on these things. And the government's made it very clear that you're not allowed to exercise outside your property. So you're not allowed to go jogging. You can't walk your dogs. There isn't any socializing allowed. This is not the time to go and visit your friends and have a party, and you're not allowed to move between districts and provinces either. And the whole idea of this is to cut down people traveling and coming into contact with each other because that is what spreads this virus.
So why is this drastic decision necessary at this point in time?
Well, we're seeing a very rapid rise in the confirmed COVID-19 infections, the infections of these viruses. President Ramaphosa said this afternoon we now have more than 900 people confirmed. I mean, that is a small number relative to the real number. You must always realize that the number of positive tests is a big underestimate of what's really going on out there. There are probably many, many more people than that who actually have the virus. The other important point is we're now seeing what's called community spread of the virus in the country. It's no longer visitors from overseas that are bringing the virus to us. The virus is now spreading among South Africans. And because this virus spreads so fast compared to other similar viruses, and lockdowns are the only proven measure we have to slow it down. And so we really need to act quickly now to prevent thousands of people getting sick and maybe overwhelming our healthcare system.
Absolutely. It's so important to follow the rules, South Africa. Now, we can't deny that even with numerous calls for citizens not to panic, some can't resist to urgent panic shop and stock up on various home supplies. So should people be stocking up as we've been seeing over the last couple of days?
Well, I think it's important to know that, food production and food provision is not being closed down. So the shops are going to be getting food over the next 21 days. The pharmacies and so on are going to be getting medicine. So you don't have to go out and buy everything that you see because, you think you're going to starve in the next 21 days. I would say it's probably a good idea to maybe buy a week of groceries if you can at one time, just to avoid being out there as much as possible. You really don't want to be going to and from the shop every single day if you don't have to, because every time you go out, you're placing yourself at risk of getting the virus or perhaps giving the virus to somebody else. Because remember, a lot of people who have this virus, they don't feel sick, but they're infectious. They are able to give it to other people.
Incredibly important information. Thank you again, Adam. Now, with so many things that you can't do during this lockdown period, what are some of the things that citizens can regularly and occasionally do during this time?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously very frustrating to have to stay home for 3 weeks. It's going to be quite difficult for a lot of people. But, you know, around the world, you're seeing people getting fit at home. You know, for the first time, they're exercising, and it makes them feel a lot better. I saw a man in Italy. He ran an entire marathon on his tiny balcony of his flat. He ran backwards and forwards, like 3 steps at a time. He managed to run an entire marathon. There was another guy in China. He ran an entire marathon around a little table in his living room. You know, people are learning new tricks. They're learning playing games with their family, playing cards. A lot of people are reading. If you've got a book, you know, to catch up on. If you have a screen in your house, catch up on the movies you've missed.
Yeah.
Learn to play a musical instrument. You know, just figure out a way of de-stressing yourself, because it's going to be very stressful. And look out for your friends. You know, if you can, give people a call. If you can chat to your neighbor over the fence between you, keep a distance from each other. But, you know, reach out to your friends if you can.
Yeah, so self-isolation doesn't mean you need to completely ignore everyone else, so I love that point.
No.
Now, another big question around the lockdown is what exactly will the roles of the police and military forces be within communities? And what are the repercussions that people will face if they do not adhere to all the rules and regulations that have been set out?
Yeah, so, you know, the police do have expanded powers now to try and enforce these regulations, and they will be backed up by the military in all provinces of South Africa. So they'll be working together, and they'll be looking for people, you know, who are socializing, who are getting together, who are breaking these rules. And they do have powers of arrest. And for example, if you are a COVID positive and you're not isolating yourself, they have the right to forcibly isolate you so that you don't infect other people. But as for how exactly they're going to know, are you really going to the shops or are you actually doing something else? I think that still needs to be determined. I saw President Ramaphosa telling the police this afternoon, this is not a skop, skiet and donner moment for them. This is not the time, you know, for the police to be heavy-handed. People are afraid. They don't know about this virus. So, you know, he's encouraging the police to stay cool.
Yes.
But they do have powers to enforce these rules.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Adam, for shedding some light on some of the confusion around the lockdown. We do encourage everyone at home to hashtag stay home. Do not move a muscle. We are locked down. Thank you again, Adam. Now, after the break, we focus on health by looking at different types of headaches and how we should treat them.